If my woman ever got fat, I would leave her in a heartbeat because I know that if I stopped being the person that she was attracted to, if I wasn't focused on building my business or my assets, my cash reserve, my discipline, my body, my mind, she would leave me. I know that. And I don't blame her for it because it's my duty as a man to hold the frame. It's my duty as a man to ensure that the more frame I have and the more leverage that I have in the relationship with a woman, the more likely that she's going to be attracted to me, and she's not going to be just, attracted to me for what I have. She's going to be attracted to me because of the man I've become. And it's not like she loves me per se. She loves what I can do to make her feel a certain way. And I don't resent women for this. I don't resent a woman because this is just the way that they are. God made them this way. I have no clue why sometimes. I don't know why he made the emotional creatures that women are the way they are sometimes, but it just is what it is. And with men, we have to recognize that we have to be the special ones in the relationship. And women aren't special in the relationship. And it's not to say that, oh, men are the prize and women are not the prize. Or women are the prize and men aren't the prize. The prize in of itself is just a good, wholesome relationship. But it's on you as a man to train the woman. And I know that sounds like some people will be upset about that. But the thing is that a lot of men who are even married to this day, they love being married, right? Oh gosh, I love being, and on the surface, that's a great thing. On the surface, it's fantastic to see men living like family-based lives, right? You want a family, you want to be able to protect and provide for that family. I think that's a good thing. But you know what's freaking crazy is nowadays it's almost as if becoming a husband and being a husband is like a cuck thing to do. And it's really sad to see because there are so many people that feel better around you. Whether you're a male or female watching this, I'm positive that if you're watching my content, then you're resonating with what I'm saying to some degree. And that's likely, in all likelihood, that you have the same types of wavelengths and understandings that I do to some degree. Maybe I just give form to what you already know. And I'm already telling you what you already know. Like I've had multiple people tell me that recently. It's like, man, you always say exactly what I know. I've just never heard it phrased that way before. It's like, well, yeah, that's part of the process of individualism. And not really individualism, but it's more of like individuation, like Carl Jung talks about with psychology. It's the process of taking the knowledge of the culture that you're in and implementing your own personality and identity within the culture, but still being your own person. And that takes some kind of refinement. And unfortunately, we just live in a day and age where almost everybody's the same. Everybody's the same. And I'm absolutely convinced that 99% of the time that in your relationships with people, a lot of these people don't even want to, like in the physical community, because I've met way better people online than I've ever met in the frickin' physical world. I know more connections online who are through genuine people because they're trying to do something with their life, more so than I met in my physical world by far. It's so weird because when you go to the digital world, you know that it's a part of the physical, but it almost feels like a different civilization. It does feel like a digital civilization. It feels like a city in cyberspace. And depending on which social media platform you're on, it's like a different city in cyberspace. Like YouTube is a specific cyberspace city. And then you go to X, and that's a specific cyberspace city. And it all has its own kind of flow and its own kind of types of interactions and types of people. YouTube by far is the best as far as I'm concerned, because YouTube University essentially is where it's at. It's so many. There's so many cool things on YouTube, right? But it's almost become a place that you can't learn anymore because everybody's shadow banned and such. But it's still, nonetheless, we have to make do with what we can do. And because here's the thing, you think that there's going to be people out here. For example, I know a specific, how do I say this? A radio host who's been on for 20 to 30 years plus, right? Trying to take down the globalists. For years and years, this person's talked about certain things that are, usually coming true. And they almost seem prophetic. And in some ways it might be, right? In some ways it might be. And this person, I don't want to really taint anybody's name per se, but it seems to me that there's this continuation, for example, of he always says that, oh, we're barely holding on. We're barely holding on. Like the globalists are going to come for me. The globalists this, the globalists that. And wasn't there supposed to be like a $2 billion whatever to put them out of business? Y'all know who I'm talking about if you know who I'm talking about. Otherwise, you're probably going to be a little lost. But it's just kind of weird to me, right? Like, it kind of dawned on me earlier this week. I thought to myself, I've always seemed to find like this person kind of entertaining per se, right? But it's kind of all it is. It's almost like a glimpse into, it's a glimpse into tomorrow, but is it? Is it though? There's a lot of these types of people out there. And in some ways, it's almost like you have to wonder how many people are freaking compromised. And you always have to maintain your individual sense of self. Like you and God are really all you've got. And the sooner that men realize this, the sooner we can have more stable relationships, the sooner that we can have a more trustworthy society, because I don't see anybody trusting anybody anymore. There's really no trust. And well, why would there be? And I say all the time, I don't have friends. I have people that I'm building with and people that I don't. I don't tell everybody, even in my closest knit circle, I don't tell them exactly what's going on in my mind all the time. Because sometimes things are just going to go between me and God. And other people don't need to know about that kind of stuff. But I'm very transparent about many parts of my life and aspects of my life. But when it comes to certain things, you have to earn your way to get closer to me like that. Because I've seen this happen before, especially with women. With women, it's sad to say, I really hate to say this, but it's almost like I genuinely can't believe anything that they say anymore. Men, I can pretty much tell when they're lying and when they're playing a certain character. But with women, it's just like, until you show me who you are, I can't trust any single word that you say. I just can't. Because I know, based on my experience, there's been too much that I've seen married women behave certain ways that most men, if they knew the things that I knew, they wouldn't be able to handle it. And I know that because I've said it before, and men respond by saying like, oh, you're just bragging. No, I'm warning you, man. I'm warning you. That's not your girl, bro. That's not your girl. And they think that it's me trying to brag about how many women want me. It's like, no, that's not what it is. It's flattering, yes, because I've never had that kind of attention before, like the last few years. However, I'm not going to deny that. But if you've seen what I've seen, it wouldn't be the kind of flattery that you think it is. And it wouldn't be the flex you think. It's not a flex at all. And so, although a lot of people might feel better around you, and maybe someone in particular, I think the sooner you get over where is the one or the woman or the man, it's like women can have the man. It's that man, right? But men, every time they've had like the woman, it always ends badly for them. I see it time and time again. They sell their soul for their woman. And it's like, if they only knew that women, if given the opportunity for a better offer in her mind, that she would sell you for anything. Like, she would throw you to the dogs, man. She would throw you to the starving dogs in the street if it meant she got a better deal. No matter who you are as a man. That's what's so crazy, is because you'll hear about all of these athletes, or like Tom Brady, for example. Okay, Tom Brady's wife, like, really? Like, they had a whole, like, everybody that knows the story a little bit, but I'm not going to go into the details with that. But it's like, you can't look at the situation, even if you're Tom fucking Brady, there's going to be a possibility that if something better comes along, she's going to throw you to the wolves. She's going to throw you out. We as men aren't like that. We're not like that at all. We're thinking to ourselves like, man, if she's not fat, and if she's able to cook, maybe she's not the most beautiful woman in the world, but hey, you know what? She's not crazy, or at least she's not as crazy as all the others. You know what? We can adapt together. That's our thought process. It's really not complex. It's really not complicated. Women, nah. They look at everything about you, man. They look at everything about you. And the sooner that you accept that it's only you and God as a man that is going to direct your life for the better or for the worst, the sooner that you'll be able to just be content and at peace with your life. It's just the way that it is. So when you're going through life and you're going through trials and tribulations and you're going through challenges, and even as a couple, maybe you're in a long-term relationship and you're going through some things, you have to remember that if she lets herself go, that means you've let yourself go to some degree. Because it will always go back to the man. A lot of women will blame the men for the relationship failure, even though they're the ones that broke up with the guy, right? Or the guy broke up with the girl and they're, oh, well, he was such a this or that or whatever. She's right. She's absolutely right. And a lot of men right now will probably be like, wait a second, what? What do you mean she's right? What do I mean she's right? Is that it's your job to either lead her or leave her. If this is a woman who is actually not a woman, this is a girl in a woman's body, she can be trained like a dog, like a puppy dog, right? And a lot of women will it's like, just calm down, okay? Just chill for a second. Sit on daddy's lap and just chill for a second. So if you notice that this woman is actually, she's more like a puppy dog in her spirit, where maybe she's peeing on the rug or the carpet or whatever. Maybe she bites the pillows or whatever, right? Like, she does weird stuff, metaphorically speaking, but she can be trained out of that. She's still like a puppy dog She's in the puppy dog phase of being able to be trained into the kind of woman that you need her to be. That's a different story. That's a different story. However, if this is a woman who's she's a full-grown dog at this point, and she's still doing that kind of stuff, dude, no, you can't deal with that. You just can't. It would have to be a dog that's grown up that already knows how to not be a puppy anymore. And at that point, the only women that I've seen that are like that are truly godly women that are absolutely ready for marriage and that are not posting thirst traps. They're not on social media much. They're very modest in their clothes. They don't talk to many people. She has friends that are girls, but they're not hoes. Okay, they're not hoish, or they're not fattish or anything like that. They're relatively stable. In fact, I would say that the best kind of woman would be a single woman who has married friends that are happily married. That's the kind of woman, if she's single and her friends are married, well, then she's naturally going to want to be a part of the group, okay? Because women are communitarians like that. So you've got to just be able to be mindful about this. And of course, women don't want us knowing about this kind of thing. Women don't want you to know that they wear a moral mask. They don't want you to know that most of what they do is a deception. And it's not to say this is all women. I get so tired of that fucking caveat. It's not all women or it's not all men. It's like, geez Louise, it's 99% of them. We just call a spade a spade. But there will be so many people, and I'll get DMs and all that, be like, oh, well, I really didn't like your video of this. Well, did you listen to the full video, or did you just get to a point where you were like, well, I don't like that, so I'm going to do everything that I can. No wonder you are the way that you are. Look, okay, I don't really care much for Donald Trump personally. However, he said something a long time ago, and he said something along the lines of, if you don't have an ego, like, show me someone without an ego and you'll show me a loser. And honestly, he's not wrong. Okay, I don't really care for Trump, but he's not wrong in that aspect, because you need a healthy ego. You need a healthy ego. And this is one of the reasons why people will feel better around you sometimes, is because you have a healthy ego. The true free spirit gives off that freeing essence. So you need a healthy ego. You don't need a narcissistic ego. You need a healthy ego. And I've never met, like, I was thinking about this too. I was thinking about how I've never met a woman who is positive in her mindset and mental health, who doesn't also have another man, whether it's a father or a brother or an uncle or a cousin or even her husband herself, who's also in a healthy mental frame of mind. Never in my life have I thought about this. Like, I've never thought about how this has never happened before, because I know for a fact that there are good women out there. But the chances of a woman who is single, who has a healthy relationship dynamic with her family, who also has a positive role model for a male that is guiding her in her life until her husband comes along, nowadays, it's like practically zero. And you'll see all these guys who are married, and you look at the way that they spend time with their family and they post about their families on social media and such, and you're thinking to yourself, like, I don't think that's the woman you think it is, man. I don't think so. That's not your girl, bro. And you can't really say this to them because they have children with the woman. But it's like, oh no, she's us men who have seen this kind of stuff, we are acutely aware of this kind of thing when it comes to women. They have the physiognomy of a cheater. They have the physiognomy of someone who has demons, but is really good at hiding them. It's just the way that it is. So be mindful of this, okay? Be mindful of how this operates and how people operate, and you'll be okay. So if you made it to this far in the video, I hope that you all stay blessed out there. Join the Regal Change Academy. We have the free tier that gives you access to the actual community. And then we have the premium tier, which gives you access to the calls and the classes beyond that. And then if you are interested in a one-on-one session with me where we go deep into the spiritual side of things, or just about whatever it is you're going through, maybe it's with semen retention and whatnot, or dreams. People have been asking me a lot about dreams recently as well. Schedule a one-on-one mentorship call with me, or if you're wanting to get really deep, that's where the Godlike Master Initiation will come into play. And that is my program for people that have more financial status, as well as the financial means and the time to commit to those kinds of things. So stay blessed out there. Peace. Until next time.